Hey, what's going on, Comics Nation? It's your boy Aaron here. I'm with a very special guest today, T Bunny from Telepathic Bunny Comics. Hey, how you doing today?
I'm here, man. Let's get into this.
All right, enough said. So I wanted to make this live stream because if you haven't heard earlier yesterday
Yeah.
there was groundbreaking news at Marvel Comics that they had finally done it. They finally stuck to their boots and replaced the sexist, what was it?
Sexist,
Problematic,
racist,
yeah,
misogynist. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
problematic Iron
yeah.
Fist. Danny
hmm
Rand is no more. Aren't you freaking happy?
Yay! Not really.
Uh, no, exactly. It's pretty shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
today I just wanted to cover why that's a problem in
hmm
my eyes,
hmm
and what can we do to you know not go this route again.
Right. Right.
So first off, T Bunny,
hmm
um, what do you think about the whole situation?
Well, I think there is a right way and a wrong way to replace a character, and what we're seeing right now is the absolute wrong way to replace a character. But if you're going to replace a character, you really need to have a significant reason to replace that character. And most of the time, they're replacing characters just because they need a
Exactly.
splash. They want a certain demographic. But when you replace a character, it should be you're replacing. It should be like replacing a family member, you know.
Exactly.
But it's become like these disposable tissue, and that is a problem. So Danny Rand has been Iron Fist for over 48 years. And now, just because some arbitrary reason they want a boost for something, and they bring in this girl who got where she is from race baiting,
True.
and intimidating what's his name, Dan Slott, because he had a pen name, an Asian pen name, and so
Uh,
she basically got a job from shaming Dan Slott. And then they put her on this book, and the first thing she does is throw out 48 years of history for no reason. Just, yeah.
exactly. Dude, it's a shame. And I was reading some of the comments that people made on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, I'm not gonna get into the whole reason why it's problematic on a race perspective because I think that's
Yeah.
been done to death.
Yeah.
I think the main thing that needs to be talked about with Danny Rand is that the whole reason for him being Iron Fist is what you guys aren't understanding.
Yeah.
So let me break it down for you.
Okay.
Danny Rand was this white kid who was orphaned on a journey with his parents. He
Yeah.
goes into this mystical Asian city, and everybody they take him in, but they don't really accept him because he's white.
Yeah.
So he has to prove himself to he has to prove himself as an outsider that he belongs in that society. And
Right.
honestly, I think that can reflect with a lot of people, regardless of which race you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you read his history, he fought his way to the Iron Fist. It was a contest, and he came out on top. It wasn't given to him. He did not have privilege in that society. As a matter of fact, he had some of those kids. By the time he got to the society, some of those kids were already training, and so he came in late. But with sheer strength of will and sheer determination, he managed to defeat them, and then he still had to earn the Iron Fist by, you know, winning it from the dragon. And
Exactly.
so we're talking about somebody who went through hell to get that power. And yet they want to make it some kind of privilege. And you know, uh, I don't see where fighting your way through a society that doesn't accept you to earn their biggest honor makes you privileged. But
Exactly.
you know, they think this somehow makes a privilege, which
Yeah.
all racists think that way. So
Yeah, and it's even worse because even after all he's done in the comic books, they voted so that he feels like he doesn't deserve the mantle.
Yeah.
Even though him plunging his fist into the dragon's heart is proof enough.
Right. Well, they rewrote the character and destroyed his internal logic to make him feel unworthy of it. They did the same thing with Thor.
It's don't get me started on Thor. Honestly, I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack, but Thor, even though people don't really like him, I think he's one of my favorite comic book heroes. So what they did to Thor was terrible.
Well, considering especially that he was originated in Norse mythology.
Exactly.
And he was like the original toxic male. Okay. I mean, most of those attributes that were in Conan and all those other people came from stories of Thor. And you know that Conan practically, you know, came from Thor and Hercules. But the fact that they made that a mantle, they just arbitrarily altered, you know, thousands of years of history and made it a mantle, you know, just because they wanted the female to take over Thor for Marvel now, you know. Exactly. And yet another reason they swapped all these characters out for just because of Marvel now. And most of the ones we're talking about were swapped out so they could do Marvel now.
Yes.
It was a bloodbath. It was a complete bloodbath. So
honestly, I don't understand why Marvel keeps on going through this time and time again.
And now DC's doing the same thing.
Exactly. It's like they don't learn from their mistakes. They keep on.
Nope.
Like I think I understand the problem. They want those big reviews and those numbers, and they don't want to spend the time, which actually takes years to pull this off successfully. They don't want to take the time to do that, so they just want to push it, and yeah, pretty much. They just want to push it. So we're seeing that also today with another character that somehow made his way back to Marvel. Ben Reilly.
Oh, Ben Reilly. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So if you haven't heard, Peter Parker is once again indispatched. This time he is in a coma, and he gave Ben Reilly his blessing after he came back for the fourth time in comics.
Well, wasn't he? Didn't he come back as a super villain, the Jackal, a couple years ago? Okay.
He did. I read that run, and it was obviously stupid.
The
whole thing with the Jackal persona, they wanted it to be a mystery of who it was, but after you do some reading mid-arc, you kind of figure it out really quickly. And the whole reason why he became the Jackal is pretty stupid.
Right. Well, I don't know why they wouldn't want Kane to be Peter Parker. I mean, take over Spider-Man. I mean, he is practically Spider-Man. He's practically Peter Parker, you know. But plus he has a better arc because, you know, he's this outcast, you know.
Yes. I think the reason why they didn't do that is because at the time they wanted Kane to take over Ben Reilly's mantle as
Scarlet Spider.
Yeah, because Ben Reilly was dead at the time. But now I don't know what they're doing with him.
Oh well, he's too good of a character. They'll just they just won't use him.
It's funny because Ben Reilly is supposed to be the most like clone. Yeah, but people don't really like him.
No. Well, it was one of those things. Where when he was Scarlet Spider, he was interesting because he was this outcast. He was self-made. He was like a original Peter Parker. He was making his own equipment. He was, he's wearing a hoodie, a torn up hoodie. People identified with him. He was just like, just self-made basically. But then they just started giving him these unearned accolades, and it was like, remember when I don't know how far back you go, but you remember when The Rock first showed up in WWE?
Oh, you mean when he had hair?
Yeah, when he was Rocky Maivia.
No.
Okay, but when he first came into the WWE, they were talking about the fact he was Rocky Johnson's son and the Chief Maivia's grandson, and that he had this cachet, and they pushed him as a baby face, and they had this awful costume with ribbons or something, and he had that pineapple puff of hair, and he was like they kept pushing him as a baby face. He kept showing up, and they kept like giving him runs, and people hated him. They were like, Rocky sucks, Rocky sucks, Rocky, kind of like what we're hearing Let's Go Brandon right now.
Yeah.
when you tell somebody is good rather than let them earn it, then people reject it. And so they were rejecting him. But and he was like, and he went to WWE management and he says, listen, I can be the greatest heel that you've ever had. Let me do it my way, because they were pushing this babyface angle on him.
Yeah.
And people were rejecting it because he didn't earn it. He didn't earn it. He was like, oh, you got this legacy. Oh, he's this, that. Great athlete, but he didn't have it. It wasn't earned, right? Yeah. But then he joins this Nation of Domination, this kind of a Black Power kind of group. There was villains at that time. And he came out like in Nation of Domination and as The Rock, and he just was electrifying as this bad guy, because he was just, I'm the people's champion, and everybody's like, we hate you, and he was just like, yes, give it to me, and he was just absorbing it and just giving it back to them, and like suddenly, exactly, and then at some moment the crowd turned and they started chanting for Rocky, but that because he earned it. And this is Ben Reilly is a good example of this, of them telling people that he's awesome, telling people that he's a good guy, but not like showing them that he's this and it takes years and years in comics to build this up, but they're expecting to just tell people this is a good person, this is somebody you should accept,
yeah, rather
than let them build from scratch.
Definitely.
So. And yeah,
and the thing is, there are already good examples of characters that have done that. Like, like you have Dick Grayson.
Right.
Dick Grayson, when he became Batman, arguably you can say that you don't like his run.
Actually, I like Dick Grayson as Batman. I really like that run.
Okay, good. Then we're in agreement. But so his run actually fits with the way that he became Batman.
Black Mirror might be one of the best comic books written in the last 20 years.
Okay. Yeah. Can you run me through Black Mirror again?
Black Mirror was right after he's become Batman. Is his struggle in the early days of becoming Batman, and he starts making his way through the universe, and it's funny because Jim Gordon realizes that's not Batman because he smiles. It's and James Gordon is like, I don't know who you are, but you're not Batman. and the fact that suddenly Batman is doing backflips and somersaults and things like that. And, and he went from being a brawler using the shadows to somebody who could like backflip off of somebody else and kick somebody else, and doing Nightwing stuff as Batman. And
it's like it's like you're in wrestling and you go from a bruiser to a high flyer.
Right. Well, okay. but I mean, I got the the Battle for the Cowl, where he fights Jason Todd. Jason
amazing.
Todd's another one, he's another character, but when he battled for Jason Todd for the Cowl and he earned it, and he's the only one that could have taken over for Bruce Wayne. He's just the only one. But the fact that he has Damian to deal with, and Damian is a bratty little brother who just happens to be a lethal assassin,
Yeah. And then, for me, some people say that Damian sucks. I'm one of those people. I honestly don't like Damian Wayne.
Okay, all right.
You
should have seen him in Super Sons. You should have seen him in Super Sons.
I was gonna mention that.
Okay.
The only two places where I love Damian Wayne is A, Super Sons, and B, his time with Dick Grayson.
Right.
His character shines so much.
Yeah. When Batman's having to tell Robin, don't kill him. That's not what we do. We don't kill. and Damian's like, that's not what you do. He's like, you're grounded until you learn not to kill people.
Lay off me, boomer.
I know, exactly. It was great. But see, that's what happens when you have that internal logic. When you have, I mean, they could have made Damian into something like fluffy or something obedient, something like boy wonder,
Oh, like the original Dick Grayson.
Exactly, like the original Dick Grayson, but they left the barbs on him, and it worked off of Dick Grayson, who Dick Grayson had to work, who was never this way, and he's trying to learn to be intimidating because he's never really been intimidating before, and he knows Batman, he has to be intimidating, and but see, that's what happens when you do a good job replacing somebody. They did a brilliant job. Of course, they reversed all of it, but New 52 had some of the best storytelling. It really did.
Definitely. And while we're at it, I think one of the reasons why it stuff like this doesn't really work as often, and I'm mentioning the Iron Fist run, it's because the heroes, when they are replacing them, they don't stay retired or they don't stay dead.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean, you're a comics fan. You know just as well as I do that it gets tiring seeing a hero that had a good send off come back.
Yeah. There used to be this rule of thumb in comics, and it was like there's two people you never revive, Bucky or Jason Todd, and that was like the rule. You don't revive Bucky and you don't revive Jason Todd. But then Brubaker decides, okay, well, I want to revive Bucky, and he did it in a brilliant way. I mean, because Winter Soldier I got that comic. It's awesome. But then when they after Civil War, when they kind of ran out all the narrative threads on Captain America and Steve Rogers, and they didn't know what to do, Ed Brubaker basically said, well, why don't we kill Steve Rogers off and replace him with Bucky? And maybe that was the plan before Winter Soldier. I don't know. But once they did that, the way they did it made narrative sense. Because nobody wanted Bucky to be the next Captain America. But Bucky knew, I have to do it because I'm the only one that would have done it anywhere near where Steve Rogers would have done it.
Exactly.
And it was a responsibility he felt. Plus the fact that he worked as an assassin all these years and still had those memories. He had a lot to atone for. And basically it made him a Captain America with an edge. And there's some of the best stories in that arc because they left the edges on Bucky and they let him learn. They let him work through his process. But that takes writing. Exactly. That takes patience. That takes writing. It takes setup. It might take years of setup. But once you're in it, you can't do shortcuts. But they always these days they do shortcuts, okay? like the Star Wars trilogy, the latest
Uh,
Star Wars trilogy.
yeah,
Look
definitely.
at how many shortcuts they did with Rey. Did she ever struggle once?
No,
I
not at
mean, did
all.
you? She was telling them how to fix the Millennial Falcon.
Exactly. I was like, how do you even know? You just went in the ship once.
I know exactly. And she's like, well, let me fix the hyperdrive for you. You know, the running joke for Millennial Falcon was that hyperdrive was like, will it work? Will it won't work? Is it going to work? If it's going to work, you know. And it was such a great ship because it had that, you know, will it or won't it? You know, it character. And she's like, "Oh, let me fix the hyperdrive for you." And then Han's looking at Chewie's like, "Hey, she fixed her hyperdrive." And it's like it's so unearned.
Exactly. And it makes it even worse because she only pressed like two buttons.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And it was just to cuck out Han Solo, you know, and they killed him off, you know. But
I don't know why, man. Like,
yeah,
I mean, I understand. Wasn't it Harrison Ford that said, "If you're gonna put me in the movie, kill me off"?
yeah, yeah.
So
He said that was his request. He's like, just you know, I'll be in it, but kill me off.
I
And
feel that he probably
yeah,
read the script.
well, I mean, you know, that's pretty much Harrison Ford, you know, in a nutshell. But the thing about it is, what I'm talking about is shortcuts, character shortcuts, and you see this all the time now because if you have a character that has flaws, they can't just remove those flaws overnight.
Exactly.
But you need the flaws to have a character. It's not the things that they're good at that makes the character. It's the flaws that make the character. And
Definitely.
they've lost it. They because they want to be representative, and so they make these characters that have absolutely no flaws on them whatsoever. They're good at everything. They never struggle. They beat up characters who have been in the universe for 30, 40 years effortlessly. And then it's like, oh, look, they're just superior. And you're just supposed to eat that.
Shoot.
It's
It,
Rocky
it's
Balboa all over again, you know?
it's really annoying. It's like what they did with Bruce Banner
Yeah.
and the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
You remember Amanda's Cho, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Amadeus Cho. Yeah.
Yeah, Amadeus Cho. So
Yeah.
honestly, I think he's just a what? How do I want to put it?
He was the third most brilliant person in Marvel
Eighth.
Universe or something.
I think it was the eighth. So
eighth. Okay,
yeah,
eighth.
so he made it just there to claim that he's so smart.
Right.
So,
The Moon Girl, this character they just made out of ether is supposedly the smartest. So yeah.
That's another thing that gets my goat. Like,
yeah.
I don't understand how you can just do that and just not and just upstage someone who's had history since the beginning of Marvel.
Right. Oh, she's smarter than Mr. Fantastic and Tony Stark, who were and you know, Giant Man or whatever. I can't remember his name, but Hank Pym. Yeah. The three most brilliant people that been in comics for years, decades, and this little girl, you know, just smarter than all of them, just like that.
Want to know how she became the smartest person in the universe?
Was it Terrigen Mist?
No. I think that it was Terrigen Mist or something.
Okay.
But she proved that she was the smartest person by solving a puzzle box that was designed by Bruce Banner, who was the third smartest person in the universe. And it was made to be unsolvable.
Oh, okay.
So my thing is, since he solved it, there should have been two possible outcomes, and they didn't even happen. The first outcome is the box would have malfunctioned or blown up because it shouldn't be able to solve the problem.
Right. Yeah.
And two, she's a liar. Well, either her or Bruce Banner are lying, man.
Right. because it was solved, so it's obviously not unsolvable. So
Exactly.
but it's like talking about Amadeus Cho. He becomes the new Hulk, and just they take the radiation away from Bruce Banner, and they shove it into this eighth smartest kid, Korean. I think his nomination is, but but then and then they expected that to sell, and here's this Hulk that likes being the Hulk. That is enjoying being big and green and strong. There's no pathos there. There's no angst. He's not fighting through issues. He's happy to be this. And it's like Ethan. I hate to keep quoting him. His ego's big enough, but he was talking about that these people that were these comic book creators came to this conference and tried to tell Marvel, we can't sell this crap. Thor is a female. Hulk is this kid that enjoys being the Hulk. Can't sell this stuff. Nobody wants to buy it. And then they're like, oh, you're Istonphobes,
classic ploy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like,
yeah, go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay, well, it's like what Jane Foster's big deal was that she was dying of cancer and the Thor power kept her alive. That was the big deal. And that was supposed to be her. That was supposed to be her flaw, their character flaw. She was dying of cancer, but they mistaken a state of being as a character flaw.
True. Yeah, that is bad. Honestly, Jane Foster is one of the worst characters in modern Marvel right now, because you took her from this nobody who was made to be the Thor's girlfriend, and you put her in the big leagues to replace him, and then after she was done, because you realized that she wasn't good, you replace another character, Valkyrie, with her, and expect her to do well in that. I don't understand it.
Yeah, well, and that's another thing. Brunhild was one of great character. Was a great character. Been in several teams. She had her own thing, but then they put her in the MCU and they race swap her with somebody and then give her an entirely different personality.
Oh yeah, I don't even think her name is Brunhild in that one. I think it's like a different character with the Valkyrie name.
Right.
So,
right.
For that one, I let it slide a little bit.
Yeah,
but
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, Tessa Thompson's an awful actress anyway.
Oh yeah, she's not really that good. Did you see her in the Men in Black movie?
Yes, I couldn't. I was 10 minutes in, and I'm like, nope.
Like, how do you make Chris Hemsworth look shitty?
Ghostbusters 2016.
I forgot about that. My mind.
The Ghostbusters movie that shall not be named. That's what we call it on the stream, man. The movie that shall not be named. Yeah. Well, if you watch that movie, it's a good example of what you're talking about. They tried to replace the whole Ghostbusters team with these women that had absolutely no build up, and they were just goofballs. There were all the seriousness was completely out of the show, but the movie only works if there's an element of fear.
Definitely.
People are you afraid of ghosts? Ghosts, it had to be a little intimidating, and there was nothing intimidating in that movie.
Definitely.
I mean, it was just like I watched. I'll be truthful to you. I tried with that movie. I gave it way more of a shot than it should have gotten. I watched it at least 3 or 4 times, and then I went back years later and watched it again, and it had aged like milk.
Yes.
It had aged. There were so many pop culture references in it that it aged just horribly. You can watch 24. You can watch 1984 Ghostbusters, and nothing ever takes you out of that movie.
Oh yeah.
But that 2016, you can't watch that movie for 5 minutes before you're completely taken out of it by some reference that's aged. But it's just poorly written, it's poorly directed, and poorly acted.
Definitely. What was the name of that one chick who's always in those terrible comedy movies? She has the glasses.
Oh,
I thought it was Amy Adams, but that's not her name.
No, it's not her name.
I love Amy Adams.
Amy Poehler, maybe? No, it's not her. I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about. I can't remember her name either. Maybe it's hysterical blindness. I've forgotten, but
yeah, believe it or not, she's actually in a.
She's good. She's actually good, but if you direct her, she's good.
Okay.
But most of the time, they don't direct her; they just let her go. That's what happened in 1980 or Wonder Woman 1984. I mean, when they gave her some direction, she was good, but I couldn't even make it through that movie at all. I mean, at all.
Oh, who did she play in that one?
Cheetah.
Oh, no, that's not the one I was talking about.
Oh,
she is a good actor. I'm not gonna lie, she is. I was talking about the Ghostbuster chick that was friends with, that was the best friend to the main character.
The chubby one. McCarthy. Melissa McCarthy.
She cannot act. I'm sorry.
No.
I don't know what it is, but she is terrible at comedy.
She's got 3 modes. Just 3. The angry attacker character, the befuddled goofball slapstick character, and the brave, serious character. And you could see her switch between those 3 modes. And that's her entire acting. That's the entire thing. And every movie she's in, I can tell you, she's in this mode now. She's in that mode. She's in that mode. I told somebody about it, and they went back and watched The Spy. I think the movie was that she did.
I heard about that.
But they watched her in that, and they're like, "Holy crap, you were right." It was like clockwork. It was like, oh, she's serious. She's doing the serious one. Oh, she's doing the slapstick one. Oh, she's doing the angry one. And it's the only 3 things she's got. That's entire range, But she's made a multimillionaire off of it,
She's probably been in at least like 1 or 2 good films. Because that's the only reason to explain it.
Well, that whole entire cast was pretty much in Bridesmaids. Yeah, the director of Bridesmaids was the one that directed 2016.
That's why.
Yeah, Paul Feig, whatever. Yeah, he directed both, and both times his directing was, okay. There's the setup. Be funny. Roll.
Shoot.
That's his idea of directing.
Honestly, I'm gonna have to see that one because I'm not gonna lie. I do like a little bit of a little chick flick now and then. only a little bit.
Well,
I'm not crazy with it.
Well, considering who you were raised by, I'll allow it.
Yep. Mostly girls. My mom and my sister. Oof.
Yeah, I hear you. Man. Well, I didn't really have strong male influences growing up either. I pretty much had to find my way.
Yeah.
And so I feel you, man. But when you talk about characters, you talk about that internal logic.
Internal logic, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about characters have to transform from one state to another, but it has to be organic.
Exactly.
And what you're seeing now is you're seeing characters do things just like dropped into situations and acting completely out of character because this person has an agenda to push. And you see this all the time where somebody showed me a panel of Moon Knight today. It was supposedly the latest Moon Knight comic that came out, where Mark Spector, one of the biggest assholes in all of Marvel Comics, is sitting there fretting, being comforted by Tigra about the fact that he has no friends.
Why would he care?
This is freaking Moon Knight, man. I mean, that's one of his other personalities would probably have this conversation, but not Mark Spector.
Exactly. It's like, oh no.
Mark Spector would consider it a bonus that he had no friends.
But hey, I didn't need him anyway.
Well, Mark Spector would be like, pussy, you know?
Oh shit. Oh god.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna get your channel struck. Sorry about that.
Honestly, I'm not even in it for the to get monetized or anything.
I got you.
Yeah, I'm just doing this for fun.
Well, like I said, with Mark Spector, if you're gonna write Mark Spector, I mean, and all the greats have written Mark Spector. Okay, some of the greatest writers in Marvel have written Mark Spector, and it's a challenge to write him because not only you're dealing with a person with multiple personalities, but you're dealing with a person who might be delusional, or he might not be delusional. This might actually be real. Exactly. And you can explore that line between is he insane or is he actually empowered, but the fact of the matter is it's either way you look at it, Mark Spector's power is the fact he's batshit crazy. That's his power. I mean, his uniform is white. Oh, yeah. He's not hiding in the shadows. He is coming at you in white.
Like the whole point is to see him.
Exactly.
He wants you to know that you're about to fuck him up.
Exactly. It's like you're seeing me coming, man. And you better do something about it. And I mean, he'll dive into whole entire groups of people, but and just go at it. I mean, Taskmaster refused to copy his fighting style. Yeah. I'm not going to copy your fighting style. You get hit too much.
Like, no, I'm good.
But see that character though, there's distinctive differences between the three personalities he has. Like Richard Grant, I think his name is the cab driver character. He's like the street guy, and he's practical and he's intelligent, and then you got the playboy character, and then you got Mark Spector. And Mark Spector's the ex-merc, serious fighter guy. And those distinctive personalities, they're all the same guy. And then you added Mr. Moon at one point. Mr. Moon is just odd, but it's the same guy. It's always the same guy, but it's these three facets of character.
Definitely.
But yeah, it's a writing challenge. It's a brilliant writing challenge. However, you've got to know the internal logic. There's an internal logic to Mark Spector.
Definitely.
And yeah.
I was gonna say, and speaking of knowing the character, yeah, I don't mean to piss you off.
Oh, go ahead, man.
Remember what they did the Captain America with Hydra?
Yeah, I remember.
Shit.
Yes, I remember. Oh,
I remember loving it because it spawned a whole bunch of memes of it. You had a whole bunch of characters saying a whole bunch of stuff they'd never say, like Spider-Man saying "fuck responsibility." You had Batman saying "I killed my parents."
Yeah, exactly. Something that they would never say. And what really ticked me off was the writer came out and he says, I proposed it to Marvel editors and they gave me the go ahead.
Give me 1 second.
Oh, sure, go problem, man. Well, he'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. The host has gone away for just a moment.
We have returned.
So shuffle walk.
Yeah.
But they told him he could do it, and so he was like, I had permission, And then when the cells went, and then suddenly, that. But the thing about it is they wrapped up the whole thing because Jordan White was in Heather Ontos's pocket, and Heather Ontos was mad that she had plans for her characters, and that this was interfering because you just need to wrap this up, and so he wrapped it up.
I hate it when the high up
And it was supposed to go on another 5 or 6 books, and he wrapped it up in 2 books.
That is so stupid. It's
yeah.
It's like why? Because I can see that the Captain America. What?
Because Jordan White looks like me, and Heather Ontos looks like a little cutesy pie girl. That's why. That's why.
Like, I can actually see potential in the run being something good for decent for a Captain America story, because it's about you have a man at a time out of his own body, and then afterwards they could have saved the Captain America run after they did the Hydra shit, because you're dealing with a man who stands for American ideals being hated by America for what he did or what he technically did. Yeah.
Well, that could have gone somewhere. Yeah, I'll agree with you. But they wanted Sam Wilson to be Captain America.
Yeah.
And Sam Wilson, who was perfectly great as the Falcon, a really good character in his own right. But they could have always given him his own miniseries.
Definitely.
And Falcon was around for a long time and a really good character. Loved by America as Falcon. Yes. Sam Wilson stood behind no man. He was an ex-officer. He trained with Captain America. I remember this one scene where he was looking at these mercenaries coming at him, and this was in Winter Soldier. And he looked at these mercenaries coming at him, and he's like, "Okay, well, let's see how the training is going these days." and then it floats away because he comes back and he's standing over all these guys, and he looks like he's kind of licking blood off his knuckles. He says, "You guys ain't shit. Your training is just horrible, man." And it was it was badass. I mean, he did not need Captain America.
Exactly. He's a legacy character in himself.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. It's like the recent thing that they did with Elektra too.
Right.
Remember when they made her Daredevil?
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
It's like I don't know why you're just taking a character that already stands on their own 2 feet and then placing them in a mantle that they don't need.
No. And really, I saw this on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
And I really should have screen capped this because it just staggering. But they're talking about that that these writers, the writers that put Elektra into Daredevil, their run was coming to an end, and that Matt Murdock was probably going to be put back in the role. And this person on Twitter said, "I would rather them kill the character."
They better not.
Then put him back as Daredevil. I'd rather them kill the character.
No, I'd rather them do anything else than kill Matt, because I don't know. At least make him stick or something. Nobody's seen stick in years. Like, elevate him.
Well, the thing about it is that Matt Murdock, the whole entire thing was that you had this blind lawyer with a sense of justice and Catholic guilt, who basically was human strong and human agile, except for the greater senses, which made him better with balance and better with all this other stuff. And he was, because of these superior senses, but he was still blind. He still was blind, but you had a blind guy but was basically Lady Justice in a human form. And it was a brilliant character that Stan Lee meant to kind of be a stunt because he wanted a disabled character. And so he made Daredevil, but Daredevil was so good as a character that it became his favorite character. Stan Lee's favorite character was Matt Murdock, and he said this in interview after interview. But when you look at the Daredevil, you got this guy who was almost beating himself to death over justice because he could not walk away from injustice. But he was the closest to Batman that they have in the Marvel universe.
True.
Because they both had that thing where, I could walk away from this and have an easier life, but I can't. You see that you saw that in the Daredevil movie. As much as people hate that movie, it got Matt Murdock right. The extended version, not the short version, not the theatrical version.
I forget what happened in the extended version.
Coolio happened in the extended version.
Oh, I think they have that on Disney Plus. I'm gonna watch that.
You need to watch the extended version. It's a way better movie. Because there was a subplot that made a lot of that make more sense that they left in. But it also had a lot of character development.
Wasn't Coolio the detective guy?
No, Coolio was this guy that was accused of killing that girl.
Ah, okay. I didn't see it.
The one that later they Wesley killed her. The Kingpin's assistant Wesley. He's the one that actually killed her. But they were blaming it on Coolio, and Matt Murdock was defending Coolio. And he has some of the funniest lines in that whole thing.
Ben Affleck was amazing in that role.
Yeah. He was amazing in Batman role. I don't know why people hated it so bad.
People hate him because he killed a few people.
Well,
accidentally. He didn't kill them. They succumbed to their own injuries.
Well, he was closest thing to Batman of any of them. Oh, because you could see him being a playboy. Because he was handsome enough to be a playboy, but he was like battle weary. He was battle hardened. He was like determined and almost laser focused, determined. And the Alfred was perfect. Their Alfred was perfect. He just ragging him the whole way. Oh, sure, sir, I'll take care of this. He did.
You bloody winker.
Yeah, exactly. It was just funny. Yeah, it was basically Frank Miller's Batman Returns. They took that Frank Miller's Batman and made him Ben Affleck. And I mean, they call it Batfleck, but he was actually I think closest to Batman that we've ever gotten.
Definitely.
But that's one of those things. It's character development, having characters with flaws. Ben Affleck played Batman with a lot of flaws, but somebody's just determined, Yeah. Even that one line, he's like, "Oh, so what exactly is your power?" "I'm rich."
Oh, dude, that was hilarious. I was like, "Yo, you really clown people out here, huh?"
Exactly. That was a line Bruce Wayne would have said. "What's your superpower?" "I'm rich." You
just throws the cash in his face. Yeah, buy yourself a new Lamborghini.
Right, exactly.
And speaking of great characters, one of the characters I think stands out the most in comic books is Barry Allen and Wally West. Because I think that's one of the key examples of how you can do
replacement. Yeah,
exactly. You can do replacements, and you can also do standalone characters and still make both of them shine. I'm still confused at I'm still amazed at how they did it.
Well, I think all these good characters, all these good replacements that we're talking about, the ones that make the most sense is my characters that were basically mentored by the character they replaced.
Yeah,
makes a lot more sense, And Wally West was Kid Flash, and but the thing that they did with Wally West, even as Kid Flash, was always insecure. and always insecure about his power, always insecure about his place in the world. And they never then and we watched the reason why the Wally West, a lot of people like him better than Barry Allen, is because we watched him grow up. Because he eventually got to figured out his place in the world, into maximum velocity when he went beyond the Speed Force and returned. Went further than any Flash or any speedster had gone before, and then made it back. And the reason he made it back was because of that insecurity. Because fighting through the insecurity made him mentally strong enough to get back. And Barry Allen was way too secure in his power, and when Barry Allen went into the Speed Force, he didn't make it back out.
Exactly.
But Wally West was like, that whole insecurity thing that made him mentally strong, and so he's like, I have to get back, and he made it back. But he was the only one that ever did that, and of course they just ruined it, and over the years.
Yeah, apparently Wally West had to be a villain because Barry Allen's a hero.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it's amazing because, when you look at both Wally and Barry, as you said, there are key differences. It's like Barry Allen he may be the progenitor, but he thinks of the Speed Force as a science, and Wally West is spiritually in tune with the Speed Force. It's pretty good concept, in my opinion.
One of my favorite characters around that time was Max Mercury. And Max Mercury was like the guru of the Speed Force because he not only had he flirted with it over the years and bounced through time, but he was and he was like the secret weapon that taught Wally West how to get back out of the Speed Force. But Barry Allen wouldn't have listened to him. Because Barry Allen knew everything,
He knows best.
Yeah, so that's the reason why people embraced Wally West and they didn't embrace Barry as much as, why they embrace him a little bit more. The purist, the people that know Flash love Wally West. And that's what they try. That's why they destroyed him, because the purists love Wally West more than they like Barry Allen.
Exactly. It's like when you enter the New 52, you can tell that they really wanted people to like Barry because he was actually a really well-written character.
Yeah.
But as soon as Wally came back, everyone went to him because they realized, hey, this is the Flash.
Right.
This is the guy that saved, was it Keystone City? Or was it Central City? Okay.
I think they're in Keystone, yeah.
Okay, I keep on getting that confused.
The Central City was like destroyed,
Good.
That was Green Lantern, I think.
Then who's Green Arrow? Is it Star City or something?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Star City. Mm.
Okay, that's weird. But shoot, why can't they have like a regular name like Metropolis or something?
They do.
No, I'm saying
Metropolis, I believe is New York City. Gotham City is Chicago, I believe.
No, Gotham City is New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy how the crime rate is so bad. It's Camden.
Oh, Camden. It's Camden. Oh, okay. Well, at least in the Snyderverse it was. What?
It's Buffalo.
Oh, he says it's Buffalo. Craig says it's Buffalo.
Hey, Craig, how you been?
He says, hey.
In February.
He says it's Buffalo in February, so that's why I had so many super villains.
Shoot,
they're all just cold, Why do you come with Mr. Freeze? But anyway, but the thing about it is the reason why Wally West is thought so highly above Barry Allen, even though Barry Allen originated it and he's a replacement, is because of the character development. We literally saw him take over the role, terrified that he was going to fail, and watched him grow into the role. And then at one point, he said, I am the Flash. And he earned it. He earned it.
And then they killed him.
And then they killed him. Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I was like, why? First of all, you had him die in the dumbest way.
Yeah.
How do you get shot by someone who's in a group that
Right.
whose job it is not to kill anybody?
Well, see, that kind of goes back to the reason why CG is gonna wind up taking over the comic book industry. Is because I still honestly think that somewhere in CG is the IP that's going to change. It's going to be a game changer. And the reason why is because we don't have to worry about other people taking over a property. Because most of the time it's like one writer or one person overseeing it with one person's IP, one person's vision. And when Marvel took off was because it was all came from Stan Lee. And when didn't, yeah, and a few others, but he pretty much like came from his brain. The Marvel method came from Stan Lee. He spitballing and saying, "Okay, let's do this.
Oh, yeah,
but there was like a singular vision behind it, and you didn't have to worry about some writer coming in and saying, I think, well, we're just gonna kill off this guy and then bring this guy in, Well, unless you're John Malin. But anyway,
yo, stop. Dude, I actually love Malin's art.
I love his art, but I don't the writing. Don't love the writing.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar.
Okay. Well, you might like it. If you like the Image books, you like John Malin stuff. But
which ones has he done?
Graveyard Shift is his primary book. He's done 3 of them.
Okay, I'll probably check it out.
Yeah. If you like that style, you'll like that. Me, I need more writing. I need more character development myself. But
I feel you.
I'm a writer, so you will. Anyway, I'm running up on a time limit here, buddy.
No problem.
But
we can end it.
No problem.
No,
anyway,
I didn't mean to hold you up, man.
Oh no, you're not holding me up. I think the conclusion that we can come from this conversation is that first of all, if you're going to replace a character, you need to replace it with a character who has been mentored by that character, so they can take over the role.
Exactly.
And secondly, you've got to have that character's got to earn it.
Yes.
He's got to earn it. There can be no shortcuts. And thirdly, if you're going to replace a character, leave them dead.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay. What was the 3 things that you came up with?
I actually came up with 4. I think
4.
You said
okay.
You said 3 of them.
Yeah.
You can actually no.
Okay.
That is it. That is it.
That was it.
Give them the proper send off. I think was the other one, but
yeah, leave them dead.
Yeah.
See, I paid attention. When you showed me that. Yeah, there you go. So
okay, that was great.
All right, man.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you for showing up. I really appreciate it.
Sure, man. All right, anytime. Have a good night.
Yeah, you as well.
All right, bye.
Oh, fuck Iceman.